So as we discussed, like there will be the 12 process involved in the extreme programming. So we discussed about the planning game and we discussed about the small releases. And this metaphor, this is one of the word used by the architecture department where we can set is like each metaphor is nothing but a common set of terminology. Say, for example, uh, let us consider the username. So username here we can split that username into first name, last name, middle name, and then preferred name. So here we split the username itself into four different fields, and each of the field should have common. I mean, should have the common validations. Like first name is also should start with capital letter, or first name should not allow any of the special characters, or first name should allow only dot after the entering one capital letter or two capital letters, whatever may be the validations that has been received from the client. So usually the all these will be called as a metaphor. Like we will be having the common set of the terminology here. So first name, last name, middle name, and preferred name. All these four will be having the same functionality. So same type of text boxes will be given here, and the user need to enter or key in the data in the same four text boxes. And all the four text boxes will be having the same validations. Or it might be something like in preferred text box, there might be a different validation, like it should allow space in between the two words. Like if I say like Naveen Kumar, then there is a space should be allowed after Naveen space Kumar. So, and again here the restriction is the system should allow only one space after the word. So you should not allow Naveen double space Kumar.
Okay.
So these type of common functionalities, which we will be calling it as a metaphors.
Okay.
So we and then this is a simple design which is nothing but this is an acronym which stands for KISS, which says that it should be simple and we should not allow stupid in the sense like we should not allow complex functionalities. So what is this KISS principle states that most of the systems must work best if they are kept simple rather than being making them as a complicated. Therefore, you should when you are working on a user story or when you are writing the user story description or the acceptance criteria, you should follow this particular principle, like make this user story as simple as, and we should avoid any confusion or we should not be any complex functionality. Like if you see, again, I'll go to here. So we had created four user stories, right, for the particular feature upload patient details. Uh, so here, if you see the user story, capture the details. So it says like simply this screen or this user story is going to give you the results of capturing the patient details. So there is no complexity involved. So it is just make it as a simple. So if I say like capture the details and it should save the patient details, and we should be also having the incident details and incident details should be saved. So if I say like all these, let's say if all these four user stories clubbed together into one user story, so how the user story that has been assigned to a particular team member or a developer can say like his screen, one of the information related to capturing the patient details is completed. He can't say like the user story is done until he can able to save the patient details, and then he need to design the insurance details screen, and then he need to save the insurance details. So once he done all these four steps, then only he can say like this user story is done. So instead of this, what we have done is we have split that particular things into multiple user stories. So where when I say like my user story is done, so I will be giving that, okay, in this particular story, I am giving to the client saying like in this story, you can able to enter the patient details. So the client will simply look at the story, and what is the output of this user story will be capture the details of the patient. So now the user story 2. So here whatever the details that has been entered in the user story 1, that should be saved in the database. This is how we need to prepare or make the user stories a bit simple and should not use make any complexity functionality over there.
Okay.
That is the simple principle here, which is the case one. And
Is it
testing
keep
and
it
refactoring.
simple?
Sorry, you are asking something.
Is it keep it simple and short or is stupid?
Stupid in the sense of here, the abbreviation it says like stupid here, avoiding the complex functionality.
Okay.
So here it is, it's not the abbreviation itself not mentioned like complexity. So it still indicates the meaning of stupid in the sense like, say if remember here, if I deliver this particular user story, does it make any sense to any of the person? It's not right. If I
Yeah.
make this your four user stories into one user story, so does it make if I gave to the particular client like look at the insurance details. So when he opened, I mean when he opened the particular user story and when he look at the particular user story, first he will be seeing the patient details. You said like this will be having the where I can able to see the insurance details. So he should be having after capturing the patient details, then he will be able to see the insurance details, right?
Okay. Like I have one more other doubt. When we are talking about customer, is it stakeholder? Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you are saying like stakeholders, right? Yeah.
When we are talking about customers, is it stakeholders or is there
Um,
any some other
he,
person?
he can be a stakeholder. So we can have like for a particular project or for a particular requirement, we can have multiple stakeholders in the sense like multiple customers or multiple clients.
Okay.
Or in the sense of like to make it more simple, we can say it as like multiple stakeholders will be coming into one client.
Okay.
So one requirement will be having multiple stakeholders. So that
Okay.
we will be discussing in our next chapter. I think it is, yeah, stakeholder management. We have a separate session for this stakeholder management. We will discuss on that in detail.
Okay.
So now we are at the testing and refactoring. So unit testing, test first design, all automated. So these are the some of the terminology used in the IT, like in most of the as a projects which are following the Agile framework. Unit testing, it should be written by the developer once he completes the functionality of the story. So here we don't need what is unit testing. No one will ask about that. And then we will have the test first design. So test first design in the sense like when you are going to design in the sense of like you are preparing the functionality or you are developing the functionality of a user story. So when you are developing the particular user story or when you are developing the functionality of the user story, so you need to validate like what will be the outcome of this user story. So if I say like in our example we have the capture the patient details. So in this patient details user story, so what will be my outcome? My outcome would be I can able to a screen in the website where I can able to enter the details of the patient
Okay.
and all automated in the sense like here is also like where the QA team they will be creating the automated test scripts. So here also we don't we are not having much involvement out there or we just need to understand the terminology unit testing, test first design and then automated.
Okay.
And refactoring is nothing but again, once changing how the system does something, but not what is done. So in the sense like this is you are in our users example, we need to capture the patient details, but in the screen you have missed the details of capturing the contact number of the patient. So there is something that has been missed. But what exactly we needed here is we need to have the complete information of the patient, which includes the his mobile number as well. So this
Okay.
is how we are going to refactoring, and this refactoring will improve the quality of the system.
Okay.
So pair programming, we discussed about this, like two developers will be working on the one user story where one will be driving on the design and the functionality where the other developer will be working on the coding part,
Yeah.
or he will write the coding. And then we have the collective ownership where it's nothing but all the developers. It says like something in the Scrum thing, the one key advantage of here is like when you say like particular user story has been assigned to a team member or a Scrum member, which can be a developer. It is nothing but he owns only that user story. He should own all the user stories that has been planned in the current sprint.
Okay.
That is how we will call it as a collective ownership. So that is the reason where all the team members will be involved in the all the meetings in the Scrum. So whether it may be a backlog refinement, or whether it may be a sprint planning, or whether it may be a sprint release, we will include all the Scrum members. Scrum members is, you remember, like it's a combination of development, testing, and then UI, and then we can also say it as like operations team.
Yeah.
And then continuous integration. So this is what we have already discussed, that we are integrating whatever the new features when we are going to have a particular release or particular sprint release. So the client will be, when we are giving a demo to the client, sprint demo. So the client will be looking at the requirements or the user stories that what we have delivered. So he might have get some idea like, okay, my login screen should be more attractive. Like he should add some logo to that one. So that is adding logo to the login screen will be a new feature to us. And
Okay.
that will be added to the, we will be considering that as a change request, and that will be added to the user story, and that user story we will put it in our product backlog.
Okay.
And next, the adaptive software development is, it stands for the, you can simply understand the naming itself, like collaboration, learning, speculation, which is nothing but the three terminologies used for the software increment. So
Okay.
we will learn whatever the missing items in the deliverables, and we will collaborate on the deliverables or the missing deliverables, and then we will make a release into the next upcoming sprint. So the same explains here as well. The collaboration phase. You can have the slides here. And then we have the DSDM, which is Dynamic Software Development Principles. So whatever the concepts we discussed till now, you might be getting in the interview point of view, like what is extreme programming, and then what are the different process involved in it. Like you can say metaphor is one of the process, pair programming is one of the process, simple design is one of the process. So
Okay.
that you will never be asked about like how it is should be implemented.
Okay.
And the same for the ASD as well, and the DSD principles as well. So DSDM is
Okay.
nothing but dynamic software development methodology. So here we focus on product delivery, product acceptance, and then iterative and incremental model, and requirements initially agreed at a high level, and we will allow all the changes made during the development, and the testing is integrated throughout the life cycle, and we will having the collaborative and cooperative approach among all the stakeholders. So these are all the principles which we already discussed in our Agile framework, which supports the Scrum. In Scrum also we discussed the same principles, and in Xtreme Programming also we discussed the same principles, and the ASD will also be having the same principles, and the DSGM will also be having the same principles. Let's look have the nine principles of the DSGM implementation.
Okay.
I'll put like this here, DSDM, right? So I'll put here, I'll give it as like dynamic software development methodology. So now you have the abbreviation of the DSDM as well, Dynamic Software Development Methodology. So
Methodology.
these are all the 9 principles where we will be having the active user involvement is there, and the teams must be empowered to make decisions, and we will focus on the frequent delivery, and we will have the criteria for the accepted deliverables, which is nothing but whatever the deliverables that are delivering in the sprint that fits to the client business. And we'll have the iterative and incremental model, which we already discussed. All changes during development must be reversible. The requirements are based lined at high level. Testing is integrated throughout the life cycle and the collaborative. So all these principles, which we will be calling it as a common principles for the Agile methodology, or we can also say it like as a Agile manifesto. Again, remember me one word. In tomorrow's session, just remember me Agile manifesto. So we will having the Agile manifesto, which will be describing all these principles. I think it's around 12 or 15 principles where we will be calling it as Agile manifesto.
Okay.
Sorry, it's my kid.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So these are the topics that we have discussed in today's session. And
Okay.
before we wind up, let's see. So this is accessible to you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so that you can see how this particular feature I have identified this as a feature and how I have created the user stories for this one. So just keep it as
Mm.
a reference for one, and then we will identify what are the different epics for this project, and we will identify what are the different features. And once we done the epics, then we will go for the step two, which is identifying the features, and the step three is creating the user stories for the features that what we have designed.
Okay.
Okay. And then in tomorrow session, what we are going to cover, yeah, we will discuss on the rough model requirements and stakeholder management. So we will cover on these 3 topics. So
Okay.
any questions till now?
No.
Okay. So, and one more thing you have asked for the recordings, right? I think I have uploaded till business analysis techniques. Let me share this sheet with you. So you can see the sessions recordings here. Whenever I get some enough time, I will upload the recording so you can see that particular drive folder itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we'll meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow also, I think we will plan for tomorrow also we'll plan for either 7 or 7:30 so that we can run for 1 hour session, at least 1 hour
Yeah.
of our session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. And bye for today. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.